everybody, this is Steve Cook for Premier Guitar and PremierGuitar.com, and you are looking at the MiniMEGA from Peavey with the accompanying Peavey H410 cabinet. Wow, where do I start? MiniMEGA, 9 pounds, 1,000 watts. Actually, it pumps more like 2,000 peak, 1,500. I mean, at times, but it's a massive powerhouse of an amp. Paired with this cab, you can pretty much rule the world. This cab handles 1,200 watts, continuous. It's made of all plywood design, ported. It's got a tweeter control in the back. Can handle everything the MiniMEGA can throw at it. So to start off, looking at the MiniMEGA, you're looking at this and saying, "Wow, this is green," like some other companies. Well, I'm going to do something crazy, maybe not too crazy. Unplug. And then it cycles through all the color options on the color wheel. And you can change those options by these two controls right here. You can hold one and cycle through the colors that you like. I'll let you do that at home, but it cycles through all of your options. So whatever mood you're in, just dial it in. It's kind of a cool thing. You can match your stage or match the rest of your rig. But then when you plug in, it goes right back to the color that you started with. All right, so here is the back panel of the MiniMEGA. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Here is your universal power input, our on switch and our fuse. These are our speak-on connections. This is the aux-in 1/8 inch, so you can attach your iPhone or Android device or a CD player if you have it. Still lying around. And we've got, I know, snarky, I'm sorry. Everybody still has CDs. I've got a bunch. We've got the DI right here. We've also got an output, 1/4 inch output, which is unique for a bass amp. Usually you just see the DIs. But we've got pre and post, we've got a pad, and we've got the ground lift. We have an effects loop, and then we have the tuner in. And right here is the multi-pin foot switch to control some of the features on the front. So it's kind of a daunting, really busy front panel, but there's not as much going on as you think. Right here, we'll just start right here. This is the input. Then over here we have the gain control. And then we have the compression, which is not on right now, but you can engage it right here. We'll get to that shortly. This is your EQ section with a low. And then you've got a punch control, which boosts the low end. We've got the low mids and high mids, which are sweepable here. And then we have these controls down here. We'll get to those in 1 second. But what it does is it narrows the point of the EQ, and you can get more detailed and focus on your mids. And then we've got the highs, and you've got a bright switch down there. This is their Cosmos control, which it's a perceived loudness of bass. It's not, it does get louder, but it is designed to make your ears think that it's getting louder. So it doesn't ruin your speakers or push your speakers any harder. It's almost like an octave sort of thing, but what it does is sort of puts these sub-harmonic frequencies in there and tricks your ear into thinking that something is happening that really isn't. But we'll get to that in a second as well. And over here is your volume control, your overall, and then a headphone out. So as you heard on the top of the piece, I've got this dialed in a little bit. Got a little bit of lows, a little bit of highs in there. I'm going to put that compression back on, and I'm just going to show you how tight this compressor will get with the bass. So right now, we're going to have this all the way off. And it is just the amp speaking. Let's roll it up halfway. You can hear that compression kicking in. Now, if you go all the way up, it really starts to squash this signal. Now, who's going to use this? Well, heavy hitters, of course, are going to use this. But anybody that wants to level out their tone a little bit, you can just leave that compressor on. Nice, gentle compression all night. it's not too crazy. So I like that. So EQ section, very powerful EQ section. You know, and again, one of the big things with bass is that we sometimes can't hear ourselves in our mix, on stage, whatever. And Peavey has taken that into consideration and put a lot of control into the mid section because the mids is where you're going to be able to adjust and hear yourself better. So I'm going to do a couple of the sweep options. You're going to hear the bad frequencies. You're going to, as I scroll through this, you're going to hear it kind of talking to you, and you'll be able to hear where those frequencies should be notched in or out. So this is going to get a little crazy. So listen to this. We'll start here with the low mids. What we're going to do is crank it. Hear how it's really boxy, really kind of crazy. So right there, to me, that would be a bad frequency. So we don't want that in there. So that's the one we don't want. We just notch it out. Bass sounds great. And again, you can adjust the taste. And these are zeroed out. These are plus or minus. So you're plus or minus on all these, as you can see. So let's try it with the high mids. So right in there, you can hear that it's really irritating, really grating. We pull that down. And the bass sounds nice. We've got a high section. Which, as you see, is dime and doesn't get too crazy. It's not too irritating. Sometimes when you crank the highs, it gives you just enough rope to hang yourself with. So, all right, and then we'll go over here to this Cosmos setting. This is a perceived loudness. They've got it divvied up into two sections with the inner ring and the outer ring. And so I'm going to play normally, and then I'm going to activate the Cosmos bass enhancement technology, and you'll be able to hear kind of what this does. So now we engage. So right now in the room, everything is shaking, and that's kind of what it does. So let's do the subwoofer portion first. And it's moving an awful lot of air. It's moving a lot of air through this cab. I mean, it's shaking the rafters, which is great. So let's pull that back, and then we're going to pull up the perceived loudness. Which again, it's not pushing the speakers any harder. It's just making you feel it more, and it's kind of tricking your brain a little bit. There's a lot of technology behind it that I don't completely understand, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work, because it obviously does, and we are moving mountains with this stuff. So check this out on your own, because it's like nothing I've ever seen. You can put an octave pedal on there, that's one thing, but Peavey has done something where they're actually moving a lot of air and a lot of lower frequencies to give this perceived loudness. And it's really, I mean, it's again, moving mountains under here with this 410 cabinet. So let's go down here to this bottom row of buttons, and we've got over here on the gain control, we have some crunch. So we've got a little bit of overdrive, and I'm going to pull that Cosmos off. Add a little bit of crunch. Now, we can control this obviously by riding up the gain. And this is foot switch driven as well. Now let's take some of that high end. Which is really nice when you add the high end to it. Get more subdued. It's pretty sweet. All right, so let's turn that off. And I'm going to take that compressor and turn that off as well. And I'm going to set this back to 0 so you can hear all these. All right, this is just as the amp is. All right, back to 0. So here we go with the low end punch. Now I'm not going to use the low end punch and the Cosmos at the same time because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to bring the studio down. But okay, let's try it. Okay. So again, back to these, back to this low mid and high mid control. When you activate the narrow bands, you can get a more pointed response on what's going on. So again, we're going to do that little test. So that's the bad frequency. I'm singing to you. So right there, pull that back. Again, being able to notch those frequencies out is a pretty cool thing. Peavey really gives you a lot to work with here. And it's a great sounding amp. You know, we started off with everything set flat, and a great bass amp is supposed to just amplify the bass. It's just supposed to make whatever you're giving it sound that much better and amplify it. Well, not sound better, just amplify it, and then you go from there. So set flat, it just gives you the sound of this instrument, which is fantastic. And then going into the features, you've got a lot to work with. I mean, it's a pretty versatile amp. It's a very powerful amp. It's a very loud amp. And it's a very loud amp when paired with the 410 cabinet as well. So that is it, the MiniMEGA and the Peavey H410 matching cabinet from Peavey. A lot of watts, a lot of air being moved, a lot of really cool stuff happening, a lot of features on this bass amp. Make sure you go down to your local store and check it out for yourself. Again, 9 pounds, fits in your backpack, and you can rule the world with this thing. So check out this review online or in the print version of Premier Guitar. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all of our videos, including Accents and Artifacts. They're big rundowns, more review demos for bass and guitar gear, plus a lot of stuff from NAMM coming here in the next few months. So make sure you check that out. For Premier Guitar, this is Steve Cook. We'll see you soon.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.